You think you can just waltz in here and steal from a dying man? You ungrateful leech? Victor Beaumont snarled, his face twisted in fury, as he towered over Eleanor Thompson in the dim glow of the Beaumont Mansion's library. Harlan Beaumont, slumped in his leather armchair, gasped for air, his wrinkled hand clutching a worn wooden box etched with faded carvings. Eleanor's pulse hammered. She had arrived for her usual cleaning shift, only to find her employer of 5 years wheezing, his eyes pleading as he pressed the box into her palms. "Take this. Promise you'll right the wrongs," Harlan rasped, his voice a threadbare whisper cutting through Victor's rage. Victor lunged forward, shoving Eleanor against the bookshelf, the box nearly slipping from her grip. "What wrongs? You're just the help, Thompson. A black maid thinking she deserves a piece of our white legacy? Dad's delirious. Heart attacks messing with his head." Lydia Beaumont burst into the room, heels clicking like gunfire, her lips curled in disdain. "Exactly. We've tolerated you scrubbing our floors, but this, handing over family secrets to someone like you? It's insulting." Harlan tried to speak, his chest heaving, but Victor cut him off. "Shut up, Dad. You're not giving her anything. She's out. Fired right now. Get out before I call the cops on you for theft." Eleanor's jaw clenched, the box heavy in her arms like a burning accusation. She had endured whispers of "know your place" for years, but this sliced deeper. Public humiliation in front of the man who had shown her rare kindness, asking about her grandchildren, slipping extra pay for their school supplies. Victor's words ignited a firestorm. Lydia grabbed the phone, dialing security, her eyes gleaming with triumph. "You're done here, Eleanor. Pack your rags and go back to your side of town." Harlan's hand trembled toward her, but weakness pinned him down, his final plea drowned in their venom. The door slammed open as guards arrived, dragging Eleanor toward the exit, the box still clutched tight, her dignity shredded in the crossfire of old prejudices reborn. Victor's laughter echoed, sealing the injustice like a locked vault. "Get your filthy hands off that box," Lydia screeched, lunging to snatch it from Eleanor's iron grip as the guards yanked her arms back, their fingers digging into her shoulders like vice clamps. Eleanor's teeth ground together, pain shooting through her jaw, but she held fast, the wooden edges biting into her palms. She locked eyes with Harlan, his fading gaze a silent anchor amid the chaos. Years of quiet conversations in this very library flashing before her. His stories of regret, her tales of raising grandchildren in the Ninth Ward's crumbling homes. Victor circled like a shark, his breath hot on her face. "You heard her. Drop it, or we'll pry it from your cold fingers. People like you don't belong in our world." Eleanor straightened her spine, the uniform she'd ironed at dawn now rumpled, but her voice sliced through the storm, steady as steel. "I promised Mr. Harlan I'd honor his words. That's all. No pleas, no tears, just raw resolve etched in her furrowed brow, her fists clenched white-knuckled around the box." Lydia faltered for a split second, her sneer cracking, but Victor shoved forward again. "Honor? You're nothing but a cleaner. Get out, now!" The guards hauled her backward, her heels scraping the polished oak floor, each step a thunderclap of humiliation. She didn't fight, didn't scream. Instead, she met their glares with unyielding silence, a wall of dignity that amplified the room's sudden hush. Harlan wheezed, one hand outstretched. "Stop. She deserves—" But Victor barked over him. "Deserves nothing. She's fired. Permanently." Eleanor's heart pounded, visions of her grandchildren's faces fueling her core. David's wide eyes at school stories, Maya's dreams of college she could barely afford. As the mansion doors slammed shut behind her, the box tucked under her arm like a lifeline. She stood on the grand steps, chest heaving. The silence she left lingered, gnawing at Victor's smugness. He paced the library, fists balled, while Lydia stared at the empty doorway, a flicker of unease twisting her gut. Eleanor's quiet exit wasn't defeat. It was a blade, sharp and unspoken, carving doubt into their armor. She walked into the humid New Orleans night, resolve hardening with every stride. The box's weight a promise she wouldn't break. "What the hell was that about, Dad?" Victor exploded, slamming his fist on Harlan's desk as the old man's breath rattled like chains in the empty library. Harlan's eyes fluttered shut, paramedics bursting through the door with stretchers clanging, needles piercing his veins. Lydia hovered, nails digging into her palms. He gave her that box, like she earned it. Disgusting. Victor rifled through drawers, papers scattering like accusations, his pulse thundering. His fingers snagged a yellowed envelope tucked behind faded ledgers. The seal cracked, words scrawled in Harlan's shaky script. The debt to the Thompsons runs deep. Blood and chains from the old plantation days. Victor's breath hitched, the letter crumpling in his grip. Thompsons? That's her name. What debt? Lydia snatched it, her face draining. Color is nonsense. Some guilt trip from his meds. Burn it. But Harlan stirred, one finger twitching toward the desk's hidden compartment. Victor pried it open, a rusted iron key tumbling out, etched with a plantation emblem from centuries past. What's this for? Dad, talk! Harlan's lips parted, a gurgle escaping. Hidden. Truth. Fix it. Sirens wailed outside as medics wheeled him away, Victor's knuckles whitening around the key, doubt clawing his chest like thorns. Lydia paced, heels stabbing the floor. Ignore it. He's dying delusional. Yet Victor's gut twisted, Eleanor's silent stare replaying, her promise echoing louder than Harlan's fading heartbeat. The key burned in his palm, a silent accusation unlocking doors he never wanted opened, pulling him towards shadows he couldn't ignore. Damn that key, it's poisoning everything, like your precious family's tainted bloodline. Victor roared at Lydia over the phone, his knuckles bleeding from punching the library wall, the rusted iron clutched in his fist like a curse. Hours after Harlan's body vanished into the ambulance's red glare, Victor stormed out of the mansion, engine revving as he peeled into New Orleans' shadowed streets, the envelope's words searing his brain. Debt to the Thompsons, chains from plantation days. Lydia's voice crackled through the speaker. Forget her, Victor. She's beneath us. Just sell the properties and move on. He slammed the dashboard, cutting her off. No, Dad's dying words weren't delirium. I need answers. From her. Tires screeched as he barreled toward the Ninth Ward, heart slamming against ribs, doubt fueling fury. Eleanor's face haunted him, her unyielding grip on the box, her silence slicing deeper than shouts. He pulled up to her shotgun house, paint peeling like old wounds, pounding the door until knuckles throbbed. No answer. Thompson, open up. I know you're in there. A neighbor's curtain twitched, eyes narrowing, but Victor shoved past, spotting Eleanor through the window, stacking books for her grandchildren's lessons. He burst in uninvited, the doorframe cracking under his force. You think you can walk away with Dad's secrets? Hand over the box, now! Eleanor's shoulders tensed, but she didn't flinch, setting down a worn textbook with deliberate calm. Mr. Beaumont, you fired me. What more do you want? Victor advanced, breath ragged, the key thrust forward like a weapon. This, found it in his desk. It ties to you, to some debt. Explain, or I'll drag you to court for theft. She met his glare, fists balling at her sides, memories of Harlan's quiet confessions clashing with Victor's invasion. Your father trusted me. That's all you get. He grabbed her arm, yanking her closer, rage boiling. Trusted you? A maid over his own blood. Spill it, or I'll make sure you never work again. Your kind always folds. Eleanor's elbow jerked free, pain lancing up her arm, but she stood taller, voice a whip. My kind? That's the poison your family brewed for generations. Victor recoiled, the key slipping slightly in his sweat-slicked palm, her words igniting guilt like wildfire. He paced the cramped room, knocking over a child's drawing, his mind racing, Harlan's labored breaths, the envelope's hints of blood and chains. Fine, keep your secrets, but I'm not done. I'll find your history, dig up every dirt on the Thompsons. He stormed out, slamming the door, but paused on the porch, chest heaving, Eleanor's defiant stare burning through the glass. Back in his car, he dialed the family lawyer, voice cracking. Trace Eleanor Thompson, full background, plantations, everything, and fast. The lawyer's hesitation fueled Victor's drive. He sped to the historical society downtown, badge flashing to demand records, fingers trembling as he flipped through dusty ledgers. Names leapt out: Beaumont plantations, slave lists from the 1850s, a Thompson ancestor chained to the fields. His gut knotted, sweat beading on his forehead. "God, Dad, what did you hide?" Lydia texted, furious. "Stop this madness." But he ignored it, pocketing photocopies, the key now a talisman pulling him deeper. Hours blurred into night. He tracked Eleanor's old addresses, interrogated former employers, each dead end sharpening his obsession. One lead stuck: an anonymous donation to Eleanor's mother's funeral, traced to Harlan's accounts. Victor's hands shook, realization dawning like a blade twist. He knew her family all along. Exhausted, he pulled up to her house again, this time knocking softer, the envelope and key heavy in his pocket, ready to confront not just her, but the ghosts he'd unleashed. "You think firing me erases what your father built on my ancestors' backs, Beaumont?" Eleanor snapped at the empty air in her cramped living room, slamming the wooden box onto the scarred kitchen table, its carvings mocking her fury. Days after Victor's invasion, she paced the floorboards, creaking under her weight. Grandchildren's laughter filtering from the backyard where Maya chased David with a hose, water splashing like forgotten tears. Eleanor's fists clenched, nails biting into palms. She wouldn't crumble. Not after burying her husband young, scraping by on wages that barely fed 3 generations. The box sat unopened, a grenade in her home, Harlan's plea echoing, "Right the wrongs." She yanked open the fridge, grabbing leftovers, but her mind raced, Victor's grip on her arm bruising fresh, Lydia's sneers echoing plantation ghosts. "No time for pity," she muttered, marching to the community center down the block, box tucked under arm like armor. Inside, elders huddled around folding tables, faces etched with life's grind. Eleanor set up chairs, her voice booming. "Listen up. Today's lesson on history, our history, not the whitewashed lies." An old man grumbled. "What's the point, Ellie? They took your job. Stay low." She whirled, eyes blazing. "Low! That's what they want. Harlan gave me this. Proof of chains we broke. We'll use it." Hands flew as she organized, passing out flyers for free classes, reading for kids, job skills for mothers like her daughter once was. David tugged her sleeve, wide-eyed. "Gran, why are you mad at that man?" Eleanor's jaw tightened, kneeling to his level, resolve stealing her spine. "Because some debts run deeper than money, baby, but we rise anyway." Maya handed her a crayon drawing of a big house. The mansion? And Eleanor hugged them fiercely, heart swelling against the ache. Neighbors poured in, sharing stories of evictions, lost jobs. She listened, fists unclenching, channeling rage into action, phoning lawyers for pro bono advice, rallying petitions against unfair firings. As night fell, she sat alone with the box, fingers tracing its edges, Harlan's kindness clashing with Victor's venom. A knock shattered the quiet. Victor again? She gripped a nearby lamp like a weapon, breath held, ready to defend her world from intruders who never understood its strength. "You barge in here again, Beaumont, and I'll crack your skull like your family's broken promises." Eleanor snarled, lamp raised high as the door flew open. Victor's silhouette filling the frame, his face etched with raw desperation. He froze, hands up, the key and envelope thrust forward like surrender flags. "Wait, don't swing. I need your help, Thompson. Dad's gone, dead at the hospital. But this key unlocks something bigger than us." Eleanor's arm trembled, rage boiling from his earlier grip marks still purple on her skin. She lowered the lamp, but her stance stayed coiled, ready to strike. "Help? You fired me, humiliated me. Now you crawl back? Spit it out." Victor stepped in, door clicking shut behind him, sweat streaking his collar. "The records, I dug them up. Thompsons worked Beaumont plantations. Slaves. Dad knew, paid for your mom's funeral anonymously. The box. He wanted you to have it for a reason." Eleanor's breath caught, fists unclenching just enough to snatch the envelope. eyes scanning Harlan's scrawl. Debts in blood, chains to break. Your father whispered, right the wrongs. You think I'll trust you now? Victor leaned in, voice cracking. I don't trust myself, but Lydia's scheming, wants to bury this, sell everything. We team up, open the box together, expose it all. She slammed the envelope down, heart pounding with Harlan's fading plea clashing against generations of betrayal. Team up? With the man who called me your kind? No free pass. Victor's jaw tightened, but he nodded sharply. Name your terms. Eleanor's eyes narrowed, voice ablade. First, public truth. No hiding the slave roots. Second, your family's fortune fixes what it broke. Community fund, education for kids like mine. Third, you face Lydia head-on, or I walk. He hesitated, knuckles whitening around the key. Deal, but we start now. Open it. Together they pried the box, wood splintering under force. Inside, a faded letter unfolded, Harlan's words leaping out. Eleanor's line forged our wealth in chains. I've atoned in shadows, supporting from afar. Now reveal, the hidden vault holds the QU fund, 10 million to mend. Eleanor's fingers shook, tracing the plantation map attached, dots marking her ancestors' graves. Victor's face paled, guilt slamming him like a fist. He supported you all these years. She nodded, resolve hardening. And we'll use it, or burn trying. The letter's final line burned, a larger conspiracy, Lydia's hands in covering tracks. Victor pocketed the map, eyes meeting hers in uneasy alliance. The vault's shadow looming, pulling them into deeper darkness. You dare drag our filthy slave history into the light, you backstabbing maid? Lydia snarled, bursting into Victor's office like a storm, her manicured nails slashing the air as she slapped the plantation map from his hands. Papers scattered across the desk, Harlan's letter crumpling under her heel. Victor leapt up, face flushing crimson. Lydia, wait! This proves everything. Dad hid millions to fix what our ancestors broke. She cut him off with a vicious laugh, eyes narrowing to slits. Fix? For her kind? You're weak, brother. Always were. I'll bury this deeper than those graves. Lydia lunged for the box, fingers clawing at its lid, but Eleanor stepped forward, shoving her back with unyielding force, shoulders squared like a fortress. Touch it again, and you'll feel chains your family forged. Lydia whirled, breath hissing through clenched teeth. You? Threatening me? I own this city. Properties, lawyers, everything. One call, and you're evicted. Your grandkids on the street. Victor grabbed her arm. Stop. We're exposing the truth. Together. She yanked free, nails raking his skin, blood welling up. Together? With this intruder? No, I'll sell the plantations, shred the records. Our legacy stays pure, white, untarnished. Eleanor's fists balled, rage surging from generations of silenced voices. She snatched the map, holding it high. Pure? Built on my bloodline sweat. Harlan wanted justice. Lydia advanced, voice of venomous whip. Justice? For servants? I'll hire thugs to tail you, dig your dirt. Every welfare check, every arrest in your family tree. Victor blocked her, chest heaving. Enough. Dads will ties it all. She shoved him aside, phone in hand, dialing fast. Watch me contest it. Claim forgery. You'll both rot in court. Eleanor's jaw locked, pain from old bruises flaring, but she met Lydia's glare with fire. Try it. We'll fight. Lydia's lips curled, hanging up with a slam. Oh, I will. And when I win, you'll beg for scraps. Victor's hands shook, alliance fracturing under her assault. But Eleanor's unblinking stare fueled his doubt, Lydia's threats hanging like nooses, tightening the web of deceit. You think Lydia's threats are empty bluffs, like your family's hollow apologies? Eleanor barked at Victor, shoving the plantation map into his chest as they stormed into the New Orleans Historical Society's dim archives, dust choking the air like unspoken sins. Victor's fingers crushed the paper, veins bulging on his neck from Lydia's fresh venom still ringing in his ears, her promise to evict. to destroy. No, they're real. She's already lawyered up. We dig fast. Eleanor snatched a ledger from the shelf, pages yellowed and brittle, her hands steady despite the bruise Lydia's words left on her soul. Start here. 1850s Beaumont records. Your ancestors' chains on my blood? Victor ripped open another volume, eyes scanning slave inventories, names leaping like accusations. Thompson forebears listed as property, whipped for quotas in Louisiana fields. God, here's Elijah Thompson, your great-great-grandpa, sold for cotton profits that built our empire. Eleanor's jaw locked, fingers tracing the ink, rage surging through her veins like inherited fire. And Harlan knew that anonymous support, trace it. They huddled over microfilm machines, reels whirring, images flickering, bank transfers from Harlan's shell companies to Eleanor's family, school fees for her mother in the 1960s, medical bills for her husband before he died. Victor's breath hitched, slamming the viewer. He atoned in secret for decades. Why hide? Eleanor whirled, voice a razor. Fear. Your kind always fears the mirror. They pressed on, cross-referencing deeds. A hidden vault mentioned in Harlan's letter matched an old plantation safe house, coordinates buried in faded surveys. Victor dialed contacts, voice barking orders. Get me aerial maps, now! Blueprints arrived via email, pins dropping on forgotten ruins where Thompsons toiled. Eleanor's fists pounded the table. Lydia's selling these lands, erasing evidence. Victor nodded, sweat dripping, pulling genealogy charts. DNA links confirmed, her line tied to Beaumont overseers' atrocities, whippings, separations, blood money funneled into modern wealth. They raced to the courthouse, Eleanor leading, her stride fueled by grandchildren's futures. Clerks balked at their demands, but Victor flashed cash, unlocking sealed wills. Inside, Harlan's amendments, qui be mat of 10 million earmarked for reparations, coded as Thompson atonement. Eleanor's eyes burned, clutching the file. He planned this, years ago. Victor's phone buzzed, Lydia's thug tailing them, a shadow in the rear view as they sped away. She's on to us. We hit the vault next. Eleanor gripped the wheel, accelerating through traffic, heart slamming. And expose her cover-up, every lie. Clues piled, an encrypted ledger from Harlan's study, decoded with the key, revealing Lydia's early knowledge. She'd siphoned funds to block revelations, bribing historians to alter records. Victor's face twisted in betrayal. My own sister, profiting off pain. Eleanor's resolve hardened, phoning allies in the community center, voices rallying, elders sharing oral histories matching the docs, photos of scarred backs passed down. They converged at a neutral diner, maps spread, fingers pointing, vault location pinpointed under an abandoned mill. We break in tonight, Victor growled. Eleanor's nod was iron, and dragged the truth screaming into light. As they geared up, Lydia's threats echoed, but the mounting evidence forged their bond, a fuse burning toward explosion. You filthy Beaumonts hid this rot under your polished boots, thinking black blood washes away like dirt? Eleanor hissed, crowbar smashing the vault door in the abandoned mill's bowels, metal screeching as it gave way, Victor's flashlight beam slicing the darkness like an accusation. Dust exploded outward, choking their lungs. Eleanor charged in first, knees hitting concrete, ripping open rusted drawers stuffed with Harlan's sealed files. Victor yanked a folder free, pages spilling, ledgers from 1810, Beaumont ancestors tallying profits from whipped backs, Eleanor's forebears named as chattel, families torn for auction blocks. Look, your great-grandpa owned mine, sold kids for cotton kings. Victor's hands shook, flipping faster, sweat-stinging eyes from Lydia's trailing thugs near-missed chase earlier. Not just owned, built everything on it. Mansions, stocks, our whole damn empire. Eleanor's fists crushed a deed, rage exploding from inherited scars. She unearthed Harlan's confession tape, popping it into a dusty player hidden among relics. Harlan's voice crackled. I covered the scandals, bought silence from historians, buried graves. But the quay, 10 million, stashed for Thompsons. My atonement, secret wires to your line, Eleanor. Schools, burials, all from slave gold I couldn't stomach. Victor's face drained, slamming the player. He knew. Watched your family suffer, paid hush money to ease his guilt. Eleanor whirled, voice a thunderclap. Guilt? While we scraped pennies? Your sister knew too. Siphoned chunks to block leaks. Files confirmed. Lydia's signatures on forged transfers, diverting reparations to offshore accounts, emails plotting sales to erase sites. Victor's knuckles bled from punching the wall. Betrayal, pure. Dad fought her shadows alone. Eleanor's breath ragged, clutching a photo of chained Thompsons, faces mirroring her grandchildren's. No more hiding. This exposes the core. Wealth from whips, Harlan's half measures. Victor nodded, stuffing docs into a bag, alliance forged in Revelation's fire. We take her down. But Lydia's phone trace buzzed in his pocket, a warning shot. The vault's echo held deeper traps, pulling them toward confrontation's edge. You dare expose our white throne built on your black bones, you treacherous maid! Lydia bellowed, slamming Eleanor against the courthouse wall, her fingers twisting into Eleanor's collar like iron hooks, breath hot with fury from the vault revelations still fresh in their minds. Eleanor's back hit brick, pain exploding up her spine, but she shoved back hard, nails raking Lydia's wrist, drawing blood. Expose? It's justice. Your family's whips cracked my ancestors' backs. Victor burst between them, arms flailing. Lydia, stop! We have proof! But she cut him off with a savage elbow to his gut, doubling him over, wheezing. Lydia's eyes blazed, yanking a concealed folder from her coat. Forged documents, stamps gleaming fake under fluorescent glare. Proof? I'll shred it all. One word to the judge, and you're arrested for trespassing on that vault. Eleanor's fist flew, knocking the folder scattering pages like confessions. She lunged, knee driving into Lydia's thigh, forcing a yelp. Arrest me? While you steal millions meant for chains you broke. Lydia recovered, foot stomping Eleanor's instep, bone crunching under heel. Steal! It's ours! Pure blood earns it. Your kind begs scraps. Victor gasped upright, grabbing Lydia's arm. Enough! Dad wanted reparations. She twisted free, shoving him into a bench, wood cracking. Her phone whipped out, dialing thugs. Come now! Rough her up! Make it look like robbery. Eleanor's heart hammered, dodging the incoming guard. Lydia bribed, his baton swinging wildly. She countered with an elbow to his throat, gagging him back. Bribed muscle? Pathetic. Face your rot. Lydia charged again, hair whipping, fists pounding Eleanor's shoulders, bruises blooming instantly. I'll ruin you. Evict your spawn. Blacklist your name. Victor tackled Lydia from behind, pinning her arms. No more lies. But she bit his hand, blood spurting, freeing herself to kick Eleanor's knee, buckling her down. Eleanor's vision blurred, pain lancing through limbs, grandchildren's faces flashing. Maya's laugh, David's hugs fueling her surge. She rose, grabbing Lydia's throat. End this, or choke on your legacy. Lydia gasped, clawing free, but the bribed guards swarmed, batons raised, dragging Eleanor toward shadows. Victor fought one off, fist connecting jaw with a crack. Run, Eleanor! Get the docs! Lydia's scream pierced. Kill the Alliance, now! Eleanor's breath ragged, breaking free with a headbutt to a guard's nose. Blood spraying. She bolted down halls, pain ignored. Victor's shouts echoing pursuit, danger closing like jaws. You think running hides your tainted blood from my grasp, you worthless intruder? Lydia's voice echoed down the courthouse halls like a whip crack, her heels pounding in pursuit as Eleanor burst through emergency doors. Docs clutched to her chest, pain shooting through her buckled knee with every stride. Guards' boots thundered behind, batons swinging. Eleanor dodged into an alley, trash cans clanging as she vaulted one, breath tearing her lungs. Victor's shout cut through. Eleanor, head to the mill! Vault secrets! But Lydia's screech was overpowered. Catch her! Break her if you must! Eleanor's fists pumped, rage fueling from courthouse bruises, grandchildren's futures flashing like lifelines. She slammed into a cab, door ripping open. Drive! Now! Old mill ruins! The driver floored it, tires screeching. In the rear view, Lydia's car peeled after, headlights glaring like predator eyes. Eleanor's fingers dug into the seat, docs scattering on her lap. Harlan's tape, ledgers, all partial. Need more. Undeniable proof. Victor texted frantically. I'm shaking them. Meet at the vault. Keys with me. Eleanor barked at the driver. Faster! Sirens wailed distant, Lydia's bribes pulling cops into the chase. Eleanor leapt out at the mill, rolling into shadows, knee-screaming agony. Victor arrived skidding, blood from Lydia's bite crusted on his hand, thrusting the key forward. Here, open it deeper. They charged inside, crowbar from before wedged again, door groaning open. Eleanor rifled drawers missed last time, fingers bleeding on jagged metal. Genealogy full here. A thick binder tumbled out, DNA reports stapled. Beaumont Thompson links irrefutable. Harlan's blood tests confirming distant ties through overseer assaults on slaves. Victor played another tape found wedged. Harlan's voice was gravelly. Lydia knew, stole from the fund, forged my signatures to hide atrocities. 10 million for reparations, not her greed. Eleanor's jaw clenched, pain ignored as she unearthed bank stubs. Lydia's transfers to silence witnesses, bribes to erase grave sites. This nails her. Embezzlement on tape. Victor's fist slammed into a shelf, dust exploding. My sister, destroying Dad's redemption. Footsteps echoed outside. Lydia's thugs closing. Eleanor stuffed evidence into a bag, zipping it tight. We fight out. Use this. Victor nodded, barricading the door with a beam. Buying seconds. Eleanor snapped photos on her phone. Backups flying to community allies. Send. Now. Texts fired off. Elders receiving proof. Rallying calls. Lydia's voice boomed through cracks. Give up. Your kind always loses. Eleanor countered with a shove, beam holding. They escaped via back vent, crawling sharp-elbowed, emerging into the night. Victor's car waited, engine roaring. They sped off, evidence secure. Lydia's pursuit lights fading. Eleanor's breath steadied, resolve iron from the chase's fire. Court tomorrow. This ends her. Victor gripped the wheel, alliance unbreakable now. The binder's weight a hammer poised to strike. You think stolen millions wash away your white hand's blood on my people's chains? You thieving witch? Eleanor roared, bursting into the courtroom, with the binder slamming onto the judge's bench, pages flying like indictments as Lydia leapt from her seat, face contorting in fury. The gavel cracked once, but Eleanor shoved forward, tape player thrust high, Harlan's voice booming from speakers. Lydia embezzled, forged my name to bury slave sins. Lydia lunged across the aisle, nails slashing at Eleanor's face, drawing red lines. Lies! Shut it off! You're nothing but help! Victor blocked her, arm barring like steel. Truth hurts, sister. Face it. The judge barked an order, but Lydia cut through, snatching the player, smashing it against the rail with a crack, shards scattering. Arrest her! Forgery! Her kind fabricates everything. Eleanor's knee buckled from earlier pain, but she rose, swinging the binder, connecting Lydia's shoulder with a thud. Documents spilling, bank stubs, signatures fake as Lydia's sneer. Embezzlement! Your offshore grabs! Spectators gasped, phones recording. Victor grabbed Lydia's collar. Admit it! Dad's tape nails you! She twisted free, kicking his shin, bone-jarring. Nails nothing! I'll sue you both to ruin! Eleanor pressed, voice thunder. Ruins? Like you ruined reparations? 10 million for chains you profited from. The judge seized documents, eyes widening at DNA links, genealogy charts exposing Beaumont Thompson ties through rape and whips. Lydia's breath hitched, collapsing into her chair, hands trembling. No, I protected us. Victor's fist pounded the table. Protected greed. Confess. Guards restrained her flailing arms as the judge declared. Evidence stands. Embezzlement confirmed. Lydia's scream pierced, but Eleanor's glare silenced it. Alliance triumphant. The courtroom's hush heavy with fallen empires. Justice's blade finally drawn, poised for final cuts. You expect mercy after chaining my bloodline to your greed, you heartless thief? Eleanor spat, shoving Lydia against the courtroom bars as handcuffs clicked tight around her wrists, the judge's gavel hammering finality like nails in a coffin. Lydia's face twisted, lips curling in defiance. Mercy? From trash like you? I'll appeal. By judges! But the bailiff yanked her back, chains rattling, her designer suit rumpled, eyes darting wild. Victor stood rigid, fists clenched at his sides, betrayal burning his chest from Lydia's embezzlement confession still echoing. No appeals, evidence buries you. 10 million stolen, graves desecrated. Lydia lunged, teeth bared, but guards slammed her down, knee in her back. You'll pay. Your grandkids starve. Eleanor's hand shot out, gripping Lydia's collar, yanking her face close. Starve? Like my ancestors under your whips? Rot in prison. The judge barked a sentence. Guilty. 15 years. Full restitution. Lydia's scream pierced, body convulsing as guards dragged her out, heels scraping the floor, leaving skid marks of defeat. Victor's shoulders slumped, guilt lancing him. He turned to Eleanor, voice cracking. It's done. Her schemes shattered. Eleanor's jaw tightened, pain from bruises fading into triumph. Grandchildren's safety sealed. Reporters swarmed outside, flashes blinding. But she pushed through, docs handed to prosecutors, every knot untied, funds frozen, plantations preserved as memorials. Lydia's offshore accounts seized, bribes exposed, accomplices cuffed in chain arrests. Victor's hand trembled, signing over control, alliance solid now. Justice, for once. Eleanor's nod was sharp, resolve unbroken, the courtroom's echo fading, but Lydia's fall a beacon, illuminating paths to healing. You think locking Lydia away erases the chains your bloodline forged on mine, Beaumont? Eleanor growled, shoving Victor against the community center wall, her fingers digging into his shirt as blueprints for the new foundation sprawled across the table behind them. Victor's breath hitched, hands raising in surrender, guilt carving lines on his face from the courtroom's fresh verdict. No, it doesn't. That's why I'm here, signing it all over. He yanked free, slamming a pen down, inking the deed. 10 million transferred, Beaumont Thompson Fund launched, scholarships blasting open doors for Ninth Ward kids like Eleanor's grandkids. Eleanor's jaw clenched, pain from old bruises flaring, but she grabbed the pen next, slashing her name beside his. Not just money, action. Build schools on those plantation ruins. Teach the whip's truth. Victor nodded sharply, rolling up his sleeves, barking orders into his phone. Architects, now. Turn grave sites to memorials. Fund job training for single moms scraping by. Community elders swarmed, fists pumping. Eleanor led the charge, hammering stakes into soil where ancestors bled. Her hammer swings echoing resolve. No more shadows, light it up. Victor funneled more. Properties donated, turned to housing co-ops, keys handed to families evicted by Lydia's schemes. Eleanor's voice boomed at the groundbreaking, shovel-biting earth. This mends what broke. Education crushes chains. Kids cheered, Maya's hand in hers, David's eyes wide as Victor knelt, passing tools. Help build your future. Eleanor's chest swelled, rage transmuting to fire. She organized classes, elders sharing scars, Victor funding tech labs where grandkids coded dreams into reality. Reporters flashed, but Eleanor shoved mics aside. Not for show, for them. Victor matched her pace, auctioning family heirlooms, proceeds flooding health clinics, his hands blistering from labor alongside hers. Dad's wish. Alive. Eleanor's nod softened, alliance deepening in sweat. Fund ballooned, partnerships with civil rights groups, millions multiplying impact. Heal the wounds, wide. Victor's final act, renaming the mansion a museum, plaques etching slave names, his voice cracking at unveiling. We owe this. Eleanor's grip on his shoulder tightened, Hope surging like unbroken waves. The funds reach a tidal force, washing old sins clean. In the end, this heartwarming tale reminds us that it's never too late to confront the wrongs of our past, whether rooted in prejudice, greed, or silence, and turn them into acts of redemption. Through kindness, truth, and courage, we can heal deep wounds, bridge divides, and build a legacy of justice and hope for generations to come. What do you think? Have you ever experienced a moment of unexpected forgiveness or discovered a family secret that changed everything? Share your thoughts and stories in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this story, hit that subscribe button for more inspiring tales, and thank you so much for watching. See you at the next one.